daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Liverpool podcast brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network. Liverpool are through to the next round of the Carabao Cup after seeing off Championship side Southampton and their Championship manager, Will Still. I'm joined by the co-founder of the Rhys Williams fan club, Louie Easton. How you doing, Louis?
Robbed of a performance today, by the way. Absolutely robbed when Giovanni Leone went off. I said out loud with my dad next to me watching, Rhys Williams, and then it was Milos Kerkez, much to my disappointment. But oh well, we'll get him next time.
Well, we've got yourself and me as co-founder of the Rhys Williams fan club. We've got Tom Goward as the founder of the not Tom Jones.
Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones fan club. And we've got Adarsh Ramchurn as well with us today. Adarsh, are you head of any kind of fan club?
Jaden Dans.
What cameo. I was just like Louis was screaming Rhys Williams to come on, I was screaming for Jaden Dans to come on because I thought Ngamo was getting a bit tired and I called the substitution when it happened. So Jaden Dans. I think I'm going to be a part of the Hugo Ekitike fan club, especially after what's happened today.
Oh god. Okay, well look, Liverpool have won 2-1. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. 1-2-1. Alexander Isak opens the scoring. Southampton pull one back. It's 1-1, and it's getting a little bit kind of close. And then Hugo Ekitike, who is on a yellow card for throwing the ball away or punching the ball away, scores and celebrates like it's the Champions League final instead of the third round of the Carabao Cup. Takes his shirt off, gets sent off, causes mass confusion with both the commentator on the night and our Liverpool FC WhatsApp group chat, trying to work out does he miss the next League Cup fixture or does he miss the next Premier League fixture? And it turns out that he is not now available for Saturday's game against Crystal Palace, away at Crystal Palace, the only other team in the Premier League that is unbeaten. Louis, where do we start with the utter stupidity of Hugo Ekitike?
I've got a bit of a chesty cough, so this is really clearing the airwaves for me. Thanks, guys. What the hell was he thinking? Did you see Jeremy Frimpong's face when he ran over?
It's Frimpong's reaction that got me.
What are you doing? It's just, this is something we'd expect out of Darwin Núñez. We got rid of him because we were worried about this sort of thing. And we get someone in Hugo Ekitike who, in the first couple of matches, showed excellent temperament. He had a couple of players jostling him and showing absolutely no reaction. He left all of his attitude and his personality to his burner account on his Instagram, which, by the way, absolutely terrific. How to beat a low block, if you know, you know. But because I missed the first yellow card, I must have missed that. I didn't know.
Well, basically, he does. I think he gets fouled. The referee gives it the other way. It's one of those where he's jostling with the centre back, and he just misses out on the free kick, and then he's holding the ball and he just punches it into the air, which is again another like brainless booking.
Why?
I think it was Tom Barnes, one of our Daily Liverpool crew on the WhatsApp group, said he described Ekitike sending off as the finishing of Isak and the brains of Nunes.
Yeah.
Which I think
Perfect
sums it up pretty
I
well.
never
really.
would have saw that coming from him. I mean, this is just so un-Liverpool as well. I can't think of a time where this sort of thing has happened where someone... I mean, it's comical. It's something that you just wouldn't expect from any of our players, let alone Ekitike of all of them. And
Adarsh, Louis made a good point that, the first few games that he's played, he's shown a real temperament. I mean, he went into the cauldron of St James's Park, was being, pushed around by Joe Linton, pushed around, trying to get a reaction out of him to maybe do something stupid. And he really held his nerve. And then it's just like a third round cup game against, lower league opposition. He scores and he just takes his shirt off. I mean, I don't know if you saw Arnie Slot's face when Ekitike left the field. He literally, his face was
not
red,
impressed.
and he didn't look at him at all. And I just think that I don't want to make too big a deal out of it, but you are a professional footballer, and you know what? I get it if it's a Champions League semi-final, if it's a huge game in the Premier League, I'll get it. The emotions get the better of you. But I don't know, a League Cup game, surely you've got to be a bit switched on. But it just means that it potentially causes a bit of a headache for Saturday, because now you have to probably start with Isak when really Ekitike he's the form player.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many angles to go off of this. I first want to say that if you are going to pick a game to get a red card in, this is the perfect game to get a red card in. I didn't actually know the consequence would be him missing the Palace game, which is why I was laughing so much when it happened.
Well,
and then
clearly he didn't either.
Yeah, I don't think he knew. But yeah, a bit of a moment of madness, to be honest. And the Frimpong's reaction just sent me into absolute tears, because you could see I could read on his lips what exactly he's saying. He's like, Hugo, what are you doing? And it just got me. But do you know what? I've got a complete different opinion on this. I absolutely love Hugo Ekitike. I think he's like you said, he's got that newness about him, but it's just the attitude and the arrogance, which we haven't had. I wouldn't say we've had a player like that in a while, who can just, like, the way he dribbles, the way he shoots. I mean, yeah, he's taking his top off against Southampton. Who else would do that other than Hugo Ekitike? And he's getting that reputation, which obviously we don't want him to have it too much, because obviously it's going to cause problems in the future when you do have those bigger games and opponents are going to, get under your sleeve and rattle you. But I just love his arrogance. And Louis mentioned his burner account, his Instagram, which he's been posting absolute legendary memes on. I mean, the one of Gravenberg with the baby was just was absolute class. But I think he's that character. He's just a character, and I think
forgot about that.
Yeah, what Slot's got to do with Ekitike is just maybe just tone it down a little bit, because he is vibrant. He's exuberant.
I don't want him to. Yeah, I really don't want him to.
I don't want him to either. But he does have that maverick personality about him, which if you can control and maybe just use it to his strengths, you've got some player there. And look, this is a little setback for him, but I mean, I absolutely loved it. I love the fact that he got sent off.
Do you remember when Nunez scored our winner in the Community Shield against Manchester City, and he dived into the crowd at the King Power Stadium just with his shirt off, like he just won the Champions League final? That's exactly what it reminded me of. It's just completely over the top celebration for literally no reason. And I think it's just, I think it's perfect for football. It's exactly why we love football, because you just get these sort of characters and these moments.
And he is a character. You're right. You're both right. You can see that he is a character, and you don't want to take that out of his game, because I think that it's part of his personality. That's what makes him do the things that he does on the pitch, right? That kind of confidence, that exuberance. You just hope that as he grows and matures, that those kind of moments where he just kind of completely loses himself, that will come out of his game. But I thought, apart from that, I thought he had a really good game. I thought he had a really good game. He was really effective. I was actually quite surprised that Isak was taken off with just one half. I thought Slot would build his fitness, use this game particularly to build his fitness to maybe. I was thinking he might even get the full 90 minutes, but at least kind of 70, maybe 75 minutes. But Adarsh, what are your thoughts about this kind of half and half thing? Isak for the first half, Ekitike for the second half. I thought that Isak needed the minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you two, but I think he might have. I think he was warming up or doing something at halftime, which I
think it was
maybe-
warming down.
Yeah, warming down, which I
Yeah.
think maybe was a sign from like him or the medical team that maybe it was just like, let's not risk it. I mean, to be honest, looking up the events that have happened, I think it's a perfect decision from Slot to take him off at halftime, given Ekitike sending off. And I think if we're looking ahead to Palace, I think he gets 60, 65 minutes, depending on obviously how the game goes. But yeah, I think you've got to manage Isak's fitness. He's still, you got to remember, he hasn't had a preseason. Yes, it's Southampton at home, but still physical side. They're gonna, rattle up, go up against him. So I think it was the right decision. And with Ekitike on the bench, I think it made sense. So I wasn't too surprised. I think it was okay. And I'm just happy he got his goal, which, great for him.
I'm glad he was taken off at half time and not later, because we're going to need him for as much of that Palace game as possible. And what worries me is the fact that Chiesa's played the whole 90, and that's for a full 90 in midweek, and then to play on the weekend as a backup striker. It's a little bit concerning to have two strikers who are completely blowing after the Southampton game. So yeah, I like you said, probably 60, 65 minutes for Isak on the weekend, and then Chiesa for the last third of the match, maybe.
Well, it's a Tuesday night game, so I would think that Chiesa should be okay to kind of, to come on and contribute on Saturday. But Isak, what a finish, Louis. That's why we spent the money that we did. It was just such a instinctive and just clinical finish. He found that, tiny gap in the inside post, but it was just, one touch, one finish.
And it all came from Chiesa's pressing as well.
Yeah.
There was a moment in the first half where Chiesa chased down the entire back line. It's reminded me of Robertson against City, just sprinting at every single player until the ball is booted away by the goalkeeper. And he did it again, and that's probably Chiesa's best attribute, his energy off the ball. He just sprints at the defenders and forces them into mistakes, and that's exactly what we were looking for, a mistake. And like you said, clinical from Isak. I didn't think for a second he would miss that, because that is what he is so good at. And even his celebration, that man there is nothing this man can do without looking suave, without looking cool. He's such a great signing for these sorts of moments, and first of many.
Yeah, I'm just so glad that he's got off the mark. For any striker that comes into a club, he's a record signing. It's so important they get that first goal just to settle them in, because the longer it goes on where you don't score, then it can become an issue. But I don't think there was any doubt that Isak was going to get off to a quick start when it comes to goal scoring, and we've got Ekitike who's in the goals as well. So I think that's really positive. I thought Chiesa had a really good game as well. I thought he impacted the game really well, and his energy and his attitude, I just love. The only big concern, and it is a real concern, because I thought he just looked like a Rolls Royce up until that moment, was Leone. Around about kind of 10 minutes to go in the game, he went down really kind of awkwardly, and at first, did he hit his head on the, did he hit the back of his head on the ground? But it looked like it may be a serious knee injury. I just hope that it's not something like a cruciate ligament injury, which would just that's his season over, Adarsh. And he, I thought he had a really, really decent game, a comfortable game.
Yeah, and actually, if we're talking about the centre halves, it was Joe Gomez who I thought had a bit of a sloppy game compared to Leone. He was
although, to be fair, he came out with a really crucial tackle at around about 93 minutes.
No
but
way.
apart from that, his passing, his distribution, it wasn't his best game.
It wasn't his best game, yeah.
But coming
can't
back to
disagree
Leone,
more.
Adarsh.
Yeah, no, Leone. I think. I mean, I forgot it was his debut. I think he
Yeah.
really settled in. Distribution, his physicality. I think is something that we all knew. Obviously him being 6'5", playing in Serie A, he's going to bring that to the team. But I think he really showed that in moments today. And distribution, his presence on the pitch. Yeah, definitely one for the future and obviously for the present. And just hoping that injury isn't too serious because you're looking at the Carabao Cup games, potentially the FA Cup games, the odd Champions League game where he's going to get game time, and if he's unavailable for those, that's a bit of a shame because you want to build that rhythm in his game, get him used to the English league, the English teams, when he's still at a young age. So it is a concern. I'm just hoping it's not too serious.
Can I just disagree with you on the Joe Gomez thing that you're both talking about, by the way? Because what are you talking about?
No, as in he was. I don't think he had he was just sloppy in moments. I don't think he had a bad game at all.
No, I thought defensively, in terms of his defensive work, in terms of his tackling, his positional play, he was there. And like I said, he made a really, really important tackle, 93rd minute, which is just all, that's Joe Gomez. But the thing that let him down was his distribution. He kept on giving the ball away in our own half and setting up kind of Southampton attacks. So that was the only kind of...
Maybe in the first half, but I thought he had a very solid second half. 6 clearances, 1 block, 1 tackle, 5 recoveries, didn't get dribbled past once, and had 3 duels, won all of them. So
and no goals.
Stats. And no goals.
Still no goals.
We'll wait. We'll be there.
We're still waiting.
Didn't get near them for the corners, did he?
Coming back to Leone very quickly, his first contribution to that game, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a long kind of drilled ball, a through ball by the Southampton player, and he just brings it down on the outside of his foot. It was like, is this Paolo Maldini? He just completely killed the ball, and from then on in, it was just, it was just very, very. He just made everything look very, very easy. So, I'm just really, really hoping, for his sake as well as ours. I don't want to kind of just say, oh, we're going to be down to 3 centre backs. He's a young guy. It's his first big move. It's his debut, and it just would be absolutely heartbreaking if it's a serious injury. And my feeling, though, is that it is that the way that they were strapping his leg up, the way that they took so much time to get him moving. But look, let's just hope that I'm completely wrong. But
it reminds me of the Lucas Leiva situation. That was a bit later into his Liverpool career, but he was out for ages with a knee injury, and he just couldn't really find his way back into the team. The good news for Leone is the fact that he's only 18.
True.
But it is a worry after. And this is another stat. He was the most accurate passer in the entire match to play 45 minutes or more. So 97% of his passes made. And, just for the potential, I remember when we signed him and I looked up a way that I can tell of if a signing is going to be good or not is reading the comments of the club that sold him. And they're all like, oh, great, the next generational talent from Italy has gone to England. Fantastic. So, best wishes to Leone. Hopefully he can play again this season. That would be good.
Yeah,
and make a full recovery, speedy one as well.
Absolutely. We're going to go to a very quick break, and when we come back, we'll go through some player ratings.
Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out as the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone, AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the description to learn more about Zencastr.
Okay, let's go through some player ratings. Adarsh, let's start off with Marmadashvili. Came in for Alisson Becker. We're obviously used to the big Brazilian being in goal. How do you think that he did? I thought he had a really good, solid, comfortable game.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I think the way he dealt with crosses, he didn't have too much to do in that first half. I think he made his presence is something that I think he has quite similar to Alisson in terms of he basically fills the goal. Great on crosses. He couldn't do anything about the goal we conceded. But yeah, no, solid. And good to know that we've got a safe backup pair of hands. And obviously Kelleher moving on in the summer. Marmadashvili feels like he can fill that role and hopefully grow into become a number one when Alisson eventually does move on. But yeah, no, really promising signs. So probably a solid 7 out of 10 from Marmadashvili.
Louie and Marmadashvili, I thought he was very good at it, and his distribution as well. The way he was throwing the ball out, I thought, you can see that he's someone that, if and when he does get that number one spot, hopefully in 4 or 5 years' time. if
I don't want to move on Alisson too quickly.
No, you don't. But you can see he's someone, as Adarsh said, he dominates the penalty area, and then he'll get attacks going very quickly.
Yeah, he's quite an enforcer, isn't it? Because he's just got such a huge frame, and that ball looks so small in his hands as well. He is just a giant.
Very much like Donnarumma in that respect.
Yeah, I honestly, I completely agree. He is the same sort of player, isn't he? His distribution was, as you say, the most impressive thing to me. Just how far he can throw it. He can throw it to the halfway line without it bouncing, and you don't really get goalkeepers that can throw it that far. But when you've got that sort of range, why not? If football fails, he can go straight into shot put. I'm sure he'd be fantastic at that as well. Yeah, 9 out of 10. I don't see why not. He didn't do anything wrong. Solid performance in goal.
Yeah, I'm giving him an 8, just to make the Adarsh look even worse now.
Oh gosh.
Let's go to the fullbacks. Adarsh Frimpong. He started today ahead of Conor Bradley. What do you make of his performance at right back today?
Yeah, I think I'll say fairly solid game. I actually liked when he moved to that sort of right wing position when Conor Bradley came on. I think that's a good, exciting option that we've got. Obviously, the big conversation around Salah going to AFCON, who's going to play on that right wing side. And I think Frimpong can definitely offer something quite different on that right hand side when we do leave Salah to AFCON. I think he's still working his way in terms of fitness and rhythm, and I think sometimes there's opportunities where he can put in crosses a bit earlier. Did put in a few good crosses today, but fairly solid. I don't think he was as tested as he could have been, but I mean that's purely down to the opposition. So I'm going to stick with a 7 for Frimpong. Hopefully you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go 7 as well. He brings something different, doesn't he, Louis? In terms of the right back position, there's such a difference, I think, to the way that kind of right side of our team operates when Bradley's playing as opposed to Frimpong. I'm not saying that's necessarily a good or a bad thing, but it's just different.
It is, because he gets forward and backward very, very quickly. I mean, his change of direction, his change of pace, his agility, essentially, what I'm trying to get at, is frightening, to be honest, because I can't think of many better athletes that we've had. But today, I don't think he really offered that much going forwards. He was in the right position going back. He made a nice interception on the edge of the box at one point. Can't remember who it was, but I think we'll see much better performances from Frimpong in the future. I'm going to give him a 6, I think. I think that's fair.
Okay. Let's go to the captain for the night, Andy Robertson. Adarsh, I thought he was Andy Robertson. He was solid, reliable, didn't really put a foot wrong. So for me, it was just a solid captain's performance. Really, I'm going to give him an 8.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I feel like 7's my favourite number, but I'm going to give Robertson. I think what's really good to see is when he moves into centre back. He just offers like slightly different option. Obviously, he doesn't have the height, but I think one of his great contributions today was that over the top ball to Chiesa, which led to the second goal.
Absolutely,
which I thought was something he can potentially offer in that centre back position if he's asked to play there. Is his ability. He's got a couple of those in his locker where I remember the one against Manchester United, the 7-0, that one through to Gakpo. He's got a few like really good long range passes in him. So that really stood out to me today. Just his ability to, wherever called upon, just fill in. And it doesn't look like we, obviously Leone going off, it didn't look like we were missing an actual physical centre-back on the pitch when you've got someone like Robertson in the squad. So actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to give him an 8, just purely for that over-the-top ball.
Louis?
Still would have liked to see Reece Williams, but not dwelling on that too much. Yeah, I think his crossing is probably the best in the entire squad when you think about it, because even his free kick that came off a Southampton defender that was deep in sort of near the halfway line that he just swept in was beautiful. I mean, his accurate crossing is such an asset for us, and like you alluded to, Adarsh, I think that ball over the top to Chiesa, not many players in the world would spot that, and we're getting that from a left back. And it's almost like we sort of take it for granted now. His energy, his leadership, his passion, and his forward thinking is so underrated. He's one of the best left backs in Premier League history. I mean, it's only him and Ashley Cole that I can think of. So yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think it was a very decent performance.
And it's something that, him moving into centre-back, because he did play there a few times in pre-season. I'm just wondering if worse comes to worse, if Leone is going to be out for any kind of extended period of time, it could be something that, Robertson might be called upon to do. But let's look at the other guy who played at centre-back, which is Joe Gomez. Adarsh, your rating for Gomez, what are you giving him out of 10?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, still solid in sort of the defensive areas, and I think that tackle at the end was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, like we alluded to before, his distribution probably not at its best today, but I mean, still solid. And I think, was he captain when? Oh no, Robertson's
Robertson's captain. Yeah.
But I mean, he put in quite a good captain's performance from their defence, and obviously with a lot of new players, particularly Leone in midfield, sort of guiding him in those defensive areas. I thought he was really good at that. So we're going to go for 7 for Gomez.
Yeah, I'm going to join you. I'm going for 7 as well. Louis?
Yeah, I think 7's fair, isn't it?
Fair score.
We've got Gomez on the back end.
Okay, let's move into midfield then. We've got Endo, Jones, and Leone. Let's start with Endo. I thought he was good. I don't think he had one of his best games. Again, I thought he was good in terms of being very combative. I thought his positional sense was very good. Some of his tackling was very good. I just think that at times his distribution kind of let him down a bit. I think, again, he gave the ball away quite a few times in kind of dangerous areas. There was a situation from a corner as well that, led to is that where they scored from, wasn't it? Southampton, yeah. Which it might be a bit harsh, but still, it was from his mistakes. I'm going to give him a 6.5. Adarsh, what do you reckon?
Yeah, for our number 6, probably going to give him a 6. Not his best game. I still think there's moments in the game where Endo does Endo stuff, and I'm absolutely amazed by it. I know Tom put in our group chat that he wants his gum shield. I also want his gum shield. I think do you know what? He's not the flashiest player, but he doesn't need to be. And I think he knows his role in the squad. And yeah, he didn't have his best game today, but still got stuck in. He still uses that gum shield like it's the most important thing he needs to bring on the football pitch. And yeah, I think he's a really crucial player for the squad. I think you need a player like him. So yeah, he didn't let's set the world on fire, but he doesn't need to. So yeah, 6 for Endo.
Louis?
See, I was going to go with 5.5, but I've just looked up his stats on FotMob, and once you hear this, you might change your answers. He made 5 tackles, 2 blocks, 4 clearances, 2 headed clearances, 2 interceptions, 9 ball recoveries, and he wasn't dribbled past in the entire game.
He got 1 assist at Southampton as well.
He's also, he also won 12 duels in the match, and he was the most fouled player in the match. 6 times he was fouled. No wonder he wears that gum shield if he's attracting that sort of thing. So I'm going to go with 6.5, but on the eye, it was not a very good performance from Endo. I have to say, his interplay, not great. He was dispossessed a couple of times, from what I recall. But I mean, when you've got when you're playing a rugby match with that gum shield in, you have to give him a little bit of credit.
Yeah.
What about his the guy playing next to him, Curtis Jones, Adarsh?
Yeah, I think he's
It
still
was a mixed bag of performance.
Mixed bag is perfectly out sum up. I think he's still. You can tell he obviously had that injury, and I think he's probably working his way back to full fitness. Which is why
Do you think it's just that though? Because some of the frustrations with Curtis Jones is the fact that when he's got the ball, he doesn't release it quick enough and at the right time. And then when he does release it, he releases it to the same player that he should have done 10 seconds before that.
Yeah, no,
that's the big frustration. I just don't understand how he's gone like 2-3 seasons and not taken that out of his game. So
no, you make
for me, he's winding me up now, so I'm going to give him a 5. I was going to give him a 6.5, but
I'll probably give him a 6. I actually thought, I know obviously not talking about the Everton game, but when he came on against Everton and when he came on against Arsenal, I think he played really well. So I think that's what gives me that little confidence in maybe he's adapting his game, and hence why I say the injury aspect. Obviously, I think it was his first start of the season as well, if I'm not mistaken. Don't know if he started.
I think so. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you might be right.
So potentially that could be another factor. I want to cut him some slack because I think.
All right.
Yeah, he deserves it. So I'm going to give him a 6. But
right. I'll raise mine to 6 now as well. I feel a bit bad.
No, 5 for me. Stick to your guns, Jesse.
Okay, I'm going down to 4 now.
Don't give in. Don't give in to this propaganda. No, he wasn't good. I'm sorry, he wasn't good.
Yeah.
He as you hit the nail on the head with that little depiction of the player he is, holding on to it unnecessarily long, giving it to the player should have done 10 seconds ago. But he just wants to impress. He's got that ego about him, hasn't he? He's got that cockiness, and I mean, on his day, absolutely incredible for the England team. He has been phenomenal for the youth academy that they've got there. But you're playing against Southampton. This is your 16th in the championship, and you feel the need to
shine.
Yeah,
that's true.
You don't need to be doing all that. So I'm going to go for a 5.
Where's Tom Goward when you need him?
He's not going to be happy listening to this.
Yeah, I think he's getting a low rating.
I'm going to timestamp this for Tom. Okay, what about the young kid in midfield then, Leone, Adarsh?
I thought it was brilliant. I think, you've got to give him his plaudits. I think, how old is he? 17, 18 years old in that central midfield position. And there's kids his age that are playing sort of maybe under 17s, under 18s still, and he's playing against championship opposition. Like, for him, if you're looking at it from that perspective, it's still a difficult fixture for him to play in. And I think once he bulks up a bit, which will come obviously with time and age and development, I think he can be a proper midfielder. But he actually kind of reminds me of a little bit of Ryan Gravenberch in terms of some of his attributes, in terms of how he can distribute the play. I think, to be honest, he was probably our standout midfielder on the night. If I'm going to be completely honest, I think obviously he's going to take time. I think he played the full 90 as well, which is a really big win for him as well. So, I'm going to probably give him an 8 out of 10 because I think difficult game for a young midfielder when you've got a physical team like Southampton who also kept the ball really well as well. So, I was impressed with Leone, and I hope to see more of him this season.
There was a full repertoire of Louis Easton's facial expressions when you said that Leone was probably our best midfielder. So I'm keen to hear what.
No,
he's shaking his head. It's
I know. Listen. I know he's 18. I know he's 18, but he was not that good, Adarsh.
No, I'm cutting him some slack. I'm giving him the
much slack.
Okay, maybe maybe I'm in a good mood because Ekitike.
Yeah, listen, we're all in a good mood, mate. But let's not get delusional about it because
fair.
That was. I'm putting.
Hey, this isn't the Arsenal crossover. Yeah, come on.
Oh yeah, true. maybe it's been rubbing off on me.
I'm kind of looking at him as a little bit naive for that Southampton goal as well. I know he's 18, but it was his error, in my opinion.
You think so?
I think
Positionally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah.
So I'm just saying a little bit of experience there, and it's not his fault. He's 18 years old,
yeah.
and he hasn't played that much time for Liverpool's first team. But another midfielder there, if Endo was in his position, he would have made a bit more of a contribution. So I'm not going to agree with you on him being our best midfielder. I think all of our midfielders were pretty bad, but if I was to say the best, I would have said Endo for his defensive contributions and his positional sense.
I think the game passed him by quite a few times, which is understandable given his age, and so I'm going to give him a 6. Not in the sense that I thought that he was terrible, but I just don't think that he was able to impact the game as much in midfield, and it probably didn't help that the two next to him in midfield didn't have great games either. Whereas I think if you had like a Gravenberch or a Szoboszlai or a McAllister next to him, I think that would have kind of impacted his game as well.
Agree.
Right, let's go up front then. We'll start with Chiesa. I thought he had a good game. I thought he was, again, I don't know whether I'm just swayed by his attitude and his professionalism and the fact that, I am a huge fan of Italian football, of Serie A. I just thought he had a really good game. I'm going to give him an 8.
Probably 8 or 9 from me for Chiesa. I think that was like the Chiesa of a few years ago. I think obviously he's playing Southampton. You got to take the opposition into account, but still, I think he's tenacious. Getting 2 assists. Even the goal he scored.
What a finish!
Well, it was unbelievable.
What a finish!
Even though it was offside, which it was the correct decision. Yeah, he's
that's where the referee's got to say, you know what? I know it's 3 yards offside, and we don't need VAR. But you know what? It was such a great finish. Let it go. Yeah. It's a goal.
Yeah. You've got a player there that can really be a difference maker if he gets a regular amount of time. And this is the Slot conundrum where we love Slot, but the one thing that us as Liverpool fans can critique him on is the treatment of Chiesa and how much game time he's getting. So, I anticipate he will feature against Palace given what's happened to Ekitike. But
he's got the misfortune of being basically his preferred position is Mohamed Salah's position. That's his main.
I think he's good on the left as well, though.
True.
His cameo, and even at some point in that first half when he drifted over to the left for a bit and he sort of made that incisive dribble into the box and managed to turn his way out of danger, he just looks more natural on that side. And when he was on the left for that cross to Ekitike, which came off the wrong part of his head, just shows that he can create chances from that side, and he doesn't really look as comfortable on the right-hand side. But the trouble is, he's got Gakpo in that position, and he's now got a really mature Rio Ngumoa in that position.
Let's go to Rio, and let's quickly finish off on Chiesa's numbers then. I'm giving him an 8. Adarsh?
Yeah, probably good. I'm going to give him a 9 for the 2 assists.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say an 8, but the fact that he tackled a steward at the end makes me want to give him a 9. And then patted him on the arm afterwards.
Yeah, because such a nice guy.
He's a golden retriever of a man, that Federico Chiesa.
Let's go to Rio. Started the game and, played for, I think, the majority of the game. When did he come off? It was quite
75 minutes.
75 minutes second. Again, I thought he was, I thought he was really positive. He was always looking to try and beat his man as opposed to always looking for the easy ball, which he did play. He played a few sideway passes, but his first instinct you could see was to try and beat his man, which I just think that's a great kind of attitude to have as a forward player. And I was really impressed with him. I'm going to give him an 8, Adarsh.
Yeah, probably swaying between a 7 or 8 for Rio. I think the biggest compliment is probably the fact that Southampton put 2 to 3 players on him every time he got the ball. And I mean, that is something he's probably going to have to get used to as he matures and develops, because he is that good. His feet are, I mean, there was a bit in the second half where he won a free kick on the left-hand side. He did like a lovely little like sidestep past the defender. And yeah, he just in glimpses has got so much potential. And you can see why Slot's throwing him on the bench, throwing him off the bench to get game time in the Premier League. The Carabao Cup offers him a great opportunity to get lots of minutes under his belt. So yeah, I think probably a 7 or 8 for me for Rio. But yeah, I mean, the fact that 3 big Southampton lads were surrounding him, I think is that, if anything, if I'm Rio and Gamo, I'm taking that as a compliment, because you're seen as a threat. You're seen as someone who's going to cause serious harm to an opposition that, they're quite physical. So yeah, solid from Rio.
At one point, I could hear Will Still on the sideline shouting, boxing him in, with the 2 or 3 players around him, as you alluded to, and he was forced to go back, and Will Still was going, yeah, well done, like really celebrating boxing in Rio and Gumoha, a 17-year-old. Who has been causing so many problems for Southampton's right back. What's his name? Yellert or something. So I was really impressed by Ngumoa. It's just, I love an old school sort of Barclays winger who can sprint at a fullback and really excite a crowd. The only other player that I can really think of in the Premier League at the moment who does that is Jeremy Doku at Man City. And, at times Jack Grealish as well. So I'm just so excited to see more of Rio and Ngumoa. And
so what are you giving him
out of 10 for him? Sorry?
What are you giving him out of 10?
I'll give him an 8.5. I think
yeah.
I just, the fact that he didn't contribute that much, but he got me on the edge of my seat every time he got on the ball. And to say that about someone who's 17, imagine what he's going to be when he's 25.
Yeah, exactly.
Just incredible.
Yeah, and that 75 minutes will just do him no end of good. Just playing first team football, playing against like grown men. So I think it's going to be a huge kind of plus for him. So let's move on to our main man, Alexander Isak. He had a 45 minutes first half, gets his goal, Adarsh, puts it away very comfortably. And he almost scored, actually, within, I think, the first few minutes of the game. Keeper made a pretty decent stop. So, a good start for him.
Yeah, and I think
I'm giving him, I mean, it was one half, but he scores. I've got to give him an 8.
Yeah, probably an 8 from me as well. I think, the biggest thing for me was him getting off the goal, the scoring mark for Liverpool. Yes, it's Southampton. Yes, it's 5-10 yards out, a tap in, but you still got to finish those chances. And those are the ones that when he does play in the first team, he's going to be expected to put away when you're playing bigger opposition. So yeah, I think the biggest thing is getting another 45 minutes under his belt. He still looks, for me, he's not even fully fit and he's still got attributes of his game, which he looks super sharp. And I'm like, okay, if this is him, he's not even what Slot says, he's not even up to match fitness. Then imagine what he's going to be like when he is. And I think that's the exciting prospect for a lot of Liverpool fans. And I think against Palace, hopefully he gets probably, like we said earlier, 60, 65, potentially 70 minutes, but we'll see how he is. So yeah, probably a solid 8. Brilliant finish.
Louis?
Yeah, I'm going to go with an 8.5 as well for that finish. And he just, he glides around the pitch, doesn't he?
He does.
Long strides and always pops up in the right position. And that moment when he picked up the ball on the right-hand side, he held up play and sort of made the gesture for Chiesa to follow in with a shot when Chiesa was a little bit slow to react. And his composure in those moments just shows how world-class he is. And when he's fully fit and when he's going to be playing for Liverpool regularly, when Hugo Ekitike undoubtedly gets suspended again, he will just be, he's going to be a golden boot winner for us. I'm sure of it. Once Salah eventually, I know it's going to be a while, but once he eventually can't keep his body at 100% in the future, Isak is going to be the next star man for Liverpool.
So great things to come, and a good performance. Good for him to get his first goal, first of many, as I mentioned. 8.5.
Let's finish off on the other main man.
Yes, this is what I want.
Oh,
This is the
yes.
one that you guys are waiting for. Adarsh, Ekitike.
Oh, I absolutely love this guy. I mean, if he's not everyone's fan favorite, and I know it's hard to be the number one fan favorite at Liverpool because there's so many great players, but how can you not love this guy? I know he got sent off. I know he did, but there's ways to get sent off in a match, and that is the best way to get sent off. And I think, I was so tempted. Even before the red cards, I'm giving him a solid 8, 9, edging on a 10. But I think he's absolute havoc for defenders. I mean, the way he runs in behind, he's a bit similar to Isak in how he glides on the pitch. But the one thing that really stands out to me is when he's got the ball. I think there was a moment in the second half he just dribbled past a few people all by himself, by the way, no support, and I think managed to get a throw in or something. Corner, I'm not sure what happened, but he's got so much potential at 23 years old. And yes, the red card is something he's got to work on, like his temperament, understanding that he's already on a yellow card, so you can't take his top off. But I just absolutely love him. I think he's going to be my favorite player in this team at the moment.
A lot of
it's
people
very
are
hard.
saying that. A lot of people
Very
are saying
hard
that.
to
And
penalise
he's got such a good touch for a big guy.
Yeah.
I'm just gutted that he's kind of physicality we're not going to have at Palace, because I think we're going to need it.
Mm.
But Louis, finish off on Ekitike. What are you giving out of 10? And
I mean, it depends if you're glass half full or glass half empty. If you're half empty, like Tom Goward was in that group chat, you'd give him a 0. I'm giving him a 20 out of 10.
Oh,
that was just fantastic. It really was a very enjoyable watch in the moment. Looking forward, a little bit worried about him, but yeah, 20 out of 10. I'm gonna finish on that.
Well, on that note, I think we'll leave it there. That is all for today. You've been listening to the Daily Liverpool podcast, brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network. Join us again as we start our build-up to the weekend's game in the Premier League against Crystal Palace. From myself, Louie and Adarsh, thank you for listening.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.